Hello, happy Sunday, everyone. Today, Max and I have some exciting news to share with you, and that we are sharing and celebrating. It is our 1-year anniversary in the van since we left from Barrie, Ontario on September 16th of last year. We are so amazed with how this year has gone, and we've been reflecting a lot on all the amazing experiences, some of the struggles, some of the learning curves that have happened along the way.
There's been a lot of learning curves.
A lot of learning curves. And we just wanted to sit down and chat with you guys about some things that we've learned since living full-time and traveling in our van for a year. This is the longest that either of us have ever traveled for in total. And yeah, we just feel like we have some insights that we can share with you if you're thinking about getting into van life, if you're thinking about traveling the Americas and doing a similar route to what we've done. We just wanted to share some of our experiences.
Yeah, and it is very different. Having both travelled a lot, it is very different travelling for a full year and doing it in such a way that we're rarely in a spot for more than a few days. Mm-hmm. So, without
further ado,
you got me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, point numero uno. There is one thing that we learned very quickly is that there is risk in any country that you travel to. And we learned it so quickly because on our second night ever in the van, we're in London, Ontario, in Canada, and we had our bike stolen, or my bike stolen, off the back of the van.
While we were in it.
It was padlocked, 4 locks actually, and it was cut off the back of the van. Oki didn't even wake up.
Yeah.
And we also learned Oki's not a very good guard dog.
Yeah. But to date, in 1 year of traveling on the road, that is the only time we've had something stolen from the van, and that was a couple hours from home. So there is just risk to any country that you go, and anyway, that's something we've learned. Another thing is that traveling this way by van is much different than backpacking, and it's a lot less social. The cool thing about van life is that at times you can convoy and meet other travelers, and you all have your own little houses and you can cook together, and it's an amazing experience. But in between those times, there's often times where you're just traveling with just your partner, whoever's in your vehicle, and you might not see anyone else for a few weeks. For example, right now in Costa Rica, we haven't met other overlanders in 3 weeks, nearly 4 weeks now.
Yeah.
So, cool thing about living in the van, though, is that you have full autonomy and full choice of how social you want to be or how introverted you want to be. Even if there's other people around and you just feel like having some time to yourself, you can just shut your door and have your personal space. You can choose to engage as much as you like.
Well said. Another thing we learned very early, and it wasn't really by choice because we actually left with the plan of completely avoiding winter in Canada and North America, but we were a bit late, as usual. And so we learned that the van can survive in the snow, it can handle the snow, we can live in the van in the snow, although it is definitely not our preferred way of travelling in the van. We only have a gas propane heater, so we couldn't run it all night, so we'd snuggle up for warmth. Oki was very good at snuggling with us to keep us warm. But we went through the Columbia ice fields, we went through Vancouver Island, Crater Lake in Oregon. All of those places we combated snow.
And the van handled it well.
Yeah, the van's been very impressive with how it's handled different terrain.
Yeah. Next point, Mexico is a van lifer's paradise. We spent nearly 5 months in Mexico for that reason, and we spent 2 months in the Baja alone. There's beautiful beaches, lots of camp spaces, often for free, amazing fresh food, and like fresh fruit, vegetable, anything that you want there for very low cost. Plus, there's an awesome van life community there. RVers, snowbirds, frequent vacationers, but there's a community of people in every spot that you go, and there's no surprise to us why it is such an amazing place to travel and why so many people do. If you're thinking about traveling down from Canada to the US for the winter, definitely check out Baja. And if you're feeling more adventurous, continue on through the rest of Mexico. Yeah. Mexico as a whole has so many different changing landscapes. There's the jungle, the mountains, waterfalls, the desert, the beaches. Yeah. It's an amazing country to see, and it's a great place to travel by van.
Yeah, we can't talk highly enough of Mexico. We absolutely loved it. And so, leading on from that, when we left Mexico, I especially was of the mindset that the further south we go, things are just going to keep getting cheaper and cheaper as we get into South America. And that is completely wrong. when we got to Belize is pretty expensive. Okay, so we didn't spend a lot of time there, but then Guatemala really surprised us that it was quite expensive too, especially around the tourist areas. El Salvador and Nicaragua were quite cheap. Honduras as well are all quite cheap, but the thing is there's just so much less selection in those places. You know, you can't get all the same fruit and vegetables. The eating out, there's not the same selection. So although those places are pretty cheap, you just can't get as much. And then on to Costa Rica. We were warned by other overlanders Costa Rica was expensive, but I thought they meant Costa Rica's expensive as compared to Central American countries. But Costa Rica's actually just expensive compared to any country. Like, it can be more expensive than the US in places and more expensive than Canada. So if you make traveling a route like this, just be prepared that it is really expensive, and it surprised us, but that was one thing we learned.
Yeah. As we've continued south, a trend that we noticed was that every country thought that their neighboring country was more dangerous than their own. We were warned this since leaving Canada about the US. In the US, they warned us about Mexico. Mexico warned us about Belize, and Belize warned us about Guatemala, and so on and so forth, down the whole way. It never really proved to be the case, in saying that we did take every safety precaution in order to remain safe while traveling, but we just found it funny that each country thought that the next one down was much more dangerous, and those were locals telling us that advice, and as we said, it proved not to be the case.
Yeah. So we have also learned that van life is not as glamorous as social media portrays.
Or as easy.
Or as easy. Definitely not as easy. And there's definitely the moments where you're like, this is mind-blowing. You open the back doors and you're looking at the most beautiful beach, or,
The other day we woke up to a waterfall. I mean, we knew we were going to park there beside a waterfall, but still, just opening the doors in the morning, right beside this flowing water was just unique.
Or over the cloud rainforest in Monteverde in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Those situations do actually happen, and you can get yourself there. But there's the thing that a lot of social media doesn't portray is all the in-betweens and the things like going for long periods without showering, sand constantly being in your bed, especially if you're traveling with a dog. It's impossible to keep the van clean. You try, there's dog hair everywhere, there's sand, he brings in things,
This point is that traveling by van long term can be tiring. It takes a lot of perseverance and energy to keep going, and it is tough. It's extremely rewarding and amazing when you get to those places, and we enjoy the entire journey, but don't expect it to be easy along the way.
Yeah, it's not like staying in an all-inclusive where you come back so relaxed and rejuvenated. A lot of the time you're working for what you get, and it can be tiring.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so a huge part of our van life and van travel has been Oki. I think the world's falling in love with Oki, and that's completely understandable because he is one of the highlights of our lives,
Yeah.
And we've learned that traveling with a dog, although it can have limitations, it can limit you, as in Costa Rica, as a very pertinent example right now, there's a lot of national parks that you can't bring, all the national parks you can't bring dogs in. So to go to those, we've had to we have to figure out ways around it, getting someone to look after him or whatever. And, there's certain places you just can't bring a dog. So there are limitations. But what we've learned is that the amount of joy traveling with your furry friend brings you on the trip is just so far outweighs it. Like, it is so great seeing him constantly making new friends on the beach, constantly going to new places. This is his 10th country, and he just has a ball being with us the whole time. And when things do go wrong, he is the one that brings us back to reality, because he's just always got a smile on his face and makes us realize that they're only the small things, and we can't imagine having this trip without him. And I just have absolutely loved being able to travel with our dog.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Another factor of traveling in a van, the way that we have for long term, is that, or just traveling anywhere in the van really, is that things more often than not, do not go according to plan, and we have really learned to roll with it and roll with the punches as they come. it's very rare, I think. I can't even think of a time that we've had a plan for a day and it's executed perfectly. So it's very important to just be adaptable, versatile, and able to go with the flow while living and traveling this way, because rarely do things turn out the way you want. If you are a person who needs your plans to be executed perfectly, this might not be the lifestyle for you, because there's so many factors that can cause your plan to go...
Can completely change
the direction. Anything can change the direction of your day at any point on these kind of travels, and that is just a big part of it, and we love that part of it, but it's not for everybody, but that's a part to expect if you're going to try traveling this way in the van.
And not just change by the day. Like, for example, we plan on spending 2 months in Mexico. We were there for 5. You know, just be prepared to go with the flow and just enjoy it, because it's a hell of a ride.
And after traveling in the van for so many months together, it does take some work as a partnership in a small space. What I find so cool is that we've learned to read each other's emotions like a book. The second one of our emotions changes, we can't only just see it, but we know maybe what caused it, or how they got to that point, or how to help lift each other out of that low, because there is lots of highs and lows that come along with traveling this way. And after a year now, we can read each other so well, which I think is pretty cool. And it feels like our relationship was fast forwarded to many years, like we've been married for a long time, because we know what we're thinking, we know what each action and hand signal means without needing to describe it to one another or explain it to one another. And that's just after being on the road for so long and working together as a team,
which is really cool. And I feel like it probably often goes one way or the other. For us, it's been such a bonding experience, but I feel like this kind of travel is make or break, or not necessarily, but you learn a lot about your partner. So if you want to test your relationship, go live in a van for a year with them. Another thing,
the beach is being raped.
The beach is being raped. So one thing that we've just been so blown away by on this whole trip is how the readiness of anyone you meet to help you out if you're in a bad situation. We've had the van break down a few times, and first it was in Washington. We had someone reach out online and help us to bring the van back to health. Thank you, Mark. That was amazing. And then, in Mexico, just out of Mexico City, we had our van break down. No idea where we were, and locals spent hours helping us to get us back on the road. Same with recently in Costa Rica. I think just the general point of this is people are so great if you give them a chance to be, and we've had nothing but kindness from people we've met on the road, and we've been blown away by people's generosity. And
it's just a beautiful part of traveling. And this goes for all types of traveling, but we've especially noticed in our length of travel by van that we are constantly being pushed outside of our comfort zone. And this doesn't mean with the van specifically, because the cool thing about traveling in the van is your one space that's comfortable that remains the same while everything else around you changes constantly. It's more getting in the rhythm of where you are and which country that you're in, and getting to know where to buy your food and your gas and your water, and getting to understand the locals and the culture. And then all of a sudden you're moving on to the next country, to a complete unknown, and having those feelings of apprehension of going somewhere new. So we feel traveling this way always pushes us out of our comfort zone, takes us down roads that we don't know where they lead, takes us through river crossings, takes us to some beautiful beaches, and to get there, we definitely are pushing ourselves.
But sometimes it's worth being pushed out of your comfort zone.
It's definitely worth it. The whole thing is worth it. You feel accomplished. You feel like you've done something you never would have otherwise done. And
it's one of the main ways I feel you grow as a person, So in the second half of our travels, we definitely became a lot more involved in the online community. We met Beck and Eamon and the Minimal Millennials, and through their not so gentle encouragement, they helped us get into YouTube and I guess realise something in our potential that we didn't realise. And we've spoken about it before, but we never would have started this channel if it wasn't for them, because we just didn't believe in ourselves, I guess, that
you guys would want to see what we're up to and what we're doing. And Yeah.
We're still so humbled by the growth of this community and the support that we receive. But my main point here is that it was only once we delved into the online community more that we realized just how much support and help you can get from that community.
And encouragement.
And
inspiration.
Yeah. And recommendations for us has been huge. Like, so many people have commented on a video and said, make sure you check this place out. And we do, and it's amazing. And a lot of the times, they're the best places we go because it's a local person that has gone there or someone that's traveled there, and that has been their highlight. And then, as a result, it's become one of ours. And I just think that that's amazing. And then in regards to help, someone recently just contacted us because they worked in Mercedes-Benz Costa Rica and said, they saw that we'd snapped our windscreen wiper and they helped us get a replacement part, which we now have, thankfully. And that kind of stuff's amazing. And the support, just the encouragement that we get from you guys really is what helps us keep going, and not just keep traveling, but also keep putting out content. And the fact that some people are getting inspiration from it or help from it for their future trips, we find really, I guess, heartwarming, and it makes us, more than anything else, it's what makes us want to keep
and so just the power of the online community. I think there's a lot of ideas of what van life means out there on the internet and in person, of people thinking it means that you should be completely disconnected, or it means that you'll, I don't know, whatever you think it means to you. But to us, it's a bit of balance of both. We love being disconnected, and pretty much when we're not uploading, we are disconnected. But we also like connecting as well, to be able to feed into this community and to gain knowledge and to share knowledge. And we just think that we just think that's an awesome space where we're able to connect with people we would never otherwise connect with. And all of you are along this journey with us when we would never have expected that to be in the first place. So we just think it's very powerful, and that there is a space for both connecting and disconnecting, and that both are just balanced.
Definitely.
Balancing. Well, that's a wrap for today's topic. We hope that all the ideas that we just shared with you gave you some insights of what it's like to travel this long in a van. Obviously, this was our experience, and if you're thinking of doing something similar, we just hope that you have something you can take away from it.
Yeah, and like with all the rest of the journey so far, we're continuing to play it by ear. We're in Costa Rica at the moment. We probably will be for at least another couple of weeks, and then we don't really know. From there, we're heading to Panama. We're thinking about going south to South America, but it's all still so, like the whole journey so far, we're playing it day by day and week by week, and we kind of, I think we enjoy that in a way, but it also makes us uncertain, and we never really know what's going to happen next, and that can be scary, but we absolutely love having you guys along for the ride. And I think it helps us feel like we feel better knowing that we've got so many people out there supporting us and a part of this journey as well.
Yeah, and encouraging us, because like we said, getting out of your comfort zone, like
sometimes
I personally have a little apprehension of shipping the van on a ferry across to South America, because then we're on a whole other continent and that much farther from home with the van. But with all the support and encouragement out there, we're going to cross that bridge and it would be another thing to tackle, and that's just all part of the journey and the experience.
And we're so excited for what the next year will bring, and to bring you guys along with us. And we'll play it day by day. Who knows what's going to happen next week? We'll see you there.
See you Sunday.
Bye.